My name is Jason De León. I am professor of anthropology and Chicana, Chicano, and Central American Studies at the University of California, Los Angeles. And I'm also the executive director of the Undocumented Migration Project. The way I like to explain anthropology is that it is the study of the human condition. And so anything that humans do is anthropology. And we just try to come at it from, a variety of different perspectives. The Undocumented Migration Project is a arts research and education collective that aims at both documenting and raising awareness about the experience of clandestine migrants around the globe. I'm here at SAR to make progress on a book called Soldiers and Kings, which is a long-term ethnographic study of human smugglers transporting migrants from Honduras across the length of Mexico. I began my fieldwork in Mexico as an undergraduate student at UCLA, working on ancient archaeological sites. And it was during the course of that work that I started to get to know lots of working class women and men who were getting paid to dig ditches alongside archaeologists. And these were folks who were getting ready to migrate to the United States, or they had just been deported or returned from a migration. And you spend hours, days with people, weeks, months, digging ditches and finding things to talk about until people start sharing stories about their lives. And I found that increasingly I was more and more moved by the stories that people were telling me about their migration experiences than I was about the things that was actually coming out of the ground. I always wonder how I got to the place that I am, where I feel like I wear a different hat every day and I do different things even during the course of a single day, whether that's archaeology, ethnography, forensic science, documentary film, exhibition work. I was always taught that anthropology can be all of those things, and when they are all of those things together, it makes the discipline even more powerful. We're all looking for freedom. We're all looking to kind of be our best selves, and every day of our lives we come up against these structures that are preventing us from doing these things. And that could be a national boundary, or it could be a gender or a racial stereotype. We want to be our best selves, and that typically means pushing back against these things. In 2012, when we found the body of a 31-year-old woman from Ecuador named Maricela Zagwipuya, a mother of three who had left her home in Cuenca to try to make it to New York to get a job and be able to feed and clothe her family back in Ecuador. And she lost her life in the desert. It's something that has always stuck with me and has really fueled my commitment to trying to help people understand that folks are suffering and dying every single day on the Migrant Trail. And so, I think about Maricela a lot, but then I also think about her 15-year-old cousin, Jose Tacuri, who a year later, and maybe like 6 miles south of where she was, disappeared in the Arizona desert. These things have happened, and now I want to write about it, but have I spent enough time thinking about the implications and the repercussions of writing about this stuff? Am I in a good kind of mental space to begin to put words to paper? My job is to think about it from an anthropological lens. Can I bring you to these places? Can I tell you these stories that will make you cry like they've made me cry? And so the writing process for me is a very, very intense one. And and I've done so much of that here at SAR. I wrote my first book, The Land of Open Graves, in 2013, 2014. And that was my first time really digging into some of these difficult stories. I think I really found myself here at SAR during that writing process. It fundamentally changed my entire approach to everything. And you'll see me walking 2 or 3 times a day around campus just to kind of clear my head and to get into a space where I think I can put, words to paper. The wonderfulness of just being on campus and feeling like everything else is unimportant. I can really close off. I think about it as this collaboration. And so, they're giving me so much. They're telling me their stories, they're opening up this world to me. And what I'm trying to give back then is part of myself. Empathy in my work is crucial. And that's partly because I'm empathetic towards the people that I write about and that I work with, even when they're caught up in bad things. If we can walk through that person's life and through their experiences, perhaps we come out on the other end less judgmental and more aware about just the kind of horribleness that people in the world experience. I hope people start to become more appreciative of the world around them and their kind of place within these complicated and sometimes, I think, really unequal economic systems. With one thing that, the recent, the last 5 years of politics have shown us is that the stakes are way too high these days for like academics to stay put in the ivory tower. I think there's too much happening out in the world, and we need this knowledge about how to understand social difference, how to understand inequality. And it's not going to happen if we're not thinking about our publics, if we're not thinking about ways to get this information out into the world.